back to Typecast Heroes, where we believe typology can save the world. I'm Amanda Fogelson.
And I'm Jesse Miller, and today we're going to answer the question, I just took the MBTI, now what? We are starting a new mini-series where we explain what each of those 4 letters mean, why they matter, and what to do next. Though this was mentioned in our last video, I'm just going to briefly cover it again, the history of the MBTI. So, Carl Jung proposed that our mind has a system of binary forces we use to perceive things and make decisions. Isabel Myers made a test that she believed could show which of these cognitive functions you rely on. As we said in our last video, the tests are a good place to start, but then you should do your own research to discover your true type. Or you can schedule an interview with us, talk to us about our type, and then stay tuned to our channel to continue to learn about cognitive functions. So after you take the test, you get 4 letters. Those 4 letters are a code to explain which of the 8 functions you rely on most. So today we are going to discover the first letter in the code, the I and the E, which stand for?
Introversion or extroversion.
Right, and those mean, do they mean like Amanda loves people?
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about?
Do they mean?
This is not about if you like people or if you don't like people, if you like to go to parties or if you like to stand and read a book. That's not what we're talking about here. This is more on if you're processing, if you're taking in information from the outside world or if it's all internal.
So, like Amanda said, this is where you are taking information. If you're getting your information from inside yourself or if you're taking information from the outside world. Now, obviously, every single person does a mix of all of these. But the difference with these letters are which of these things do you rely on primarily, right? So, do you spend most of your time making decisions based on the outside world and perceiving information on the outside world, or do you look inward for that kind of thing?
Also, please keep in mind, just like we said in the last video, that when we are discussing these letters and what they mean, we are talking about your... Also, sorry, I have paint all over my hands. I'm just going to say that now because it's going to bother me. I'm so sorry. I was just painting my house today. Anyways, yes, so we're talking about your core, who you are, what your default setting is, not so much on if you're going through maybe a depression and so you're staying in more, or maybe you just started a new relationship and so you're partying with that person or being super extroverted or anything like that right now. We're talking about your default setting and who you are at your core. So please remember that as we go through each letter.
So if you did get an I in your test, then that means that you rely on an introverted function first. So there are 4 introverted functions, and that is introverted thinking, which means that you turn primarily to data and facts that you have decided are the ones that make the most sense to you. So you've subjectively looked at all of the data and you look at it and say, this makes sense to me. So that is called introverted thinking. You could also have introverted feeling, which means that you turn to your own ethics and morals and value systems and you decide that you've built your own moral code, and that is how you primarily interact with the environment. You could also have introverted sensing, which we'll be covering in our next video, Sensing and Intuition, which means that you primarily rely on your own experiences, memories, and things that you have learned. Or introverted intuition, which is your own abstract interpretation and pattern making of thoughts, ideas, and concepts. And then there are also 4 extroverted functions. So there's extroverted thinking, which is data and logic in the outside world. So it primarily concerns itself with efficient systems and with logic that makes sense outside, but the person does not necessarily attach themselves to it. There's extroverted feeling, which is concerned with the feelings and ethics of everyone around them, but not necessarily concerning themselves with their own feelings. There's extroverted intuition, which is patterns and ideas in the outside world. It's real-time based. And then there's extroverted sensing, which again, real-time based, all of the details, everything that's going on in this present moment in time. Okay, so why does this matter? Why does any of this matter? So this matters because, again, as I will continue to say, this gives us a language to describe what's going on in our head. One of the things that gets told to me often is that people don't understand what's going on in their minds and they feel very outcast when they have all these racing thoughts, particularly for extroverted intuition. It's a big problem, right? So if you have the correct language to describe these things, you can own it, and it makes you feel more comfortable with what's going on. It makes you feel maybe more normal or able to discuss it better with the people that you love so they know what's going on with you.
It also helps whenever you're looking at the cognitive functions to know that it does not, again, it doesn't mean what we think introverted extroverted means. And I think that's probably the first the first idea, even the tests that you take out there or anything that you read about it, it's going to talk about how you want to be the life of the party or you're a bookworm and you want to stay in. And that's just so misleading because that's not what this is about. So it's really important to be able to understand yourself in that way. We know a lot of people who are extroverted socially, but they are introverted when it comes to their cognitive functions and vice versa. So it's really important whenever we're discussing about how to love yourself and personal growth, what your strengths and weaknesses are and all of that. It's super important to understand which of your functions are introverted and extroverted so that you have a good grasp on what they mean.
And being a human is hard, and this makes it a little bit easier. So hopefully you like this and this cleared it up a little bit. We'll be continuing this series. We'll be going into sensing versus intuition. Next. Be ready. We have a lot to say. So much to say.
So much to say.
On that one, and that will be coming out soon. Also, if you are interested in being interviewed and if you're curious about what we're talking about, there is our video, Welcome to Typecast Heroes. It'll be linked below. Remember, you have to be 18 or older. That's basically the only requirement we have. So contact us, send us a message, and we'll get you set up for an interview.
See you on the next Typecast Hero.
Bye.